I 32M, saved my coworker's life with the Heimlich maneuver. Now she's suing me for assault. This feels like the plot of a bad courtroom drama, but it's actually happening to me. Even now, sitting in my apartment on forced leave, I keep replaying the moment over and over in my head. How can something so straightforward, something good, get twisted into something so ugly? I genuinely thought I did the right thing. I didn't hesitate. I saw someone in distress, and I acted. That's what you're supposed to do, right? Instead, I'm being investigated for misconduct, suspended from my job. And now, this part still feels surreal. I'm being sued for assault. Let me back up. A few weeks ago, it was just another Wednesday. I'd stepped into the break room around 1 p.m. to warm up the leftover chicken curry I'd brought for lunch. I remember the way the microwave beeped twice when I punched in the time. It was acting up again. Just another small annoyance. My coworker, I'll call her Maya, 28F, was already in there, sitting at the far end of the table with her AirPods in, hunched over her phone while picking through a salad. I nodded a quick, "Hey," and she gave a polite nod back without removing her earbuds. We weren't friends exactly, but we were friendly in that office way. Cordial. I went about my business, opened the microwave door, stirred my food, and that's when I heard it. This ragged, gasping, wheezing sound. At first I thought maybe she was laughing too hard at something on her phone. But then it kept going, the noise got sharper. I turned around and froze. Maya was doubled over, eyes wide with terror, hands clutched at her throat. She couldn't speak. Couldn't cough, her face was going pale. I saw the panic on her face, the sheer helplessness. She was choking. That's when my training kicked in. I've taken CPR and first aid courses every year since college. My old job required it, and it became a habit. I didn't even think. I just moved. I rushed over and said loudly, "Are you choking?" She nodded frantically, wild-eyed. "It's okay," I said quickly, "I'm going to help you." I positioned myself behind her, found the spot just above her navel, and began the Heimlich maneuver. One thrust. Nothing. Another. Then a third harder push and pop. Something flew out of her mouth and landed on the table with a splat. It looked like a croûton soaked in dressing. She coughed violently, gasping for air like someone who had just resurfaced after almost drowning. "Are you okay?" I asked, still standing behind her, but backing off quickly to give her space. She didn't answer. She didn't even look at me at first. Then, slowly, she turned her head. Eyes wide, trembling, and unreadable. She looked almost horrified. I reached out gently. "Maya, are you okay?" I repeated. She flinched. Then she bolted. Literally ran out of the break room without a word. I stood there in silence, heart still pounding. I figured she was embarrassed. That kind of thing. Nearly choking to death isn't something people want to remember or talk about. I cleaned up the table, grabbed my now cold lunch, and went back to my desk feeling weird, but not guilty. Not yet. In fact, I remember telling a friend later that day. She didn't even say thank you. But hey, I wasn't looking for one. I'd want someone to do the same for me. But that's when things started changing. Over the next week, I noticed the atmosphere around me shifting. People avoided eye contact. Conversations stopped abruptly when I entered a room. Some coworkers who'd always included me in lunch plans suddenly forgot to send the invite. I shrugged it off at first. Office drama, I figured. Then, after a Friday morning team meeting, my colleague Dana, someone I'd worked with for 3 years and considered a friend, asked to talk in private. "I didn't know whether I should tell you," she began, glancing around nervously, "but there's a rumor going around about you and Maya." My stomach dropped. "What kind of rumor?" She hesitated. "She's telling people that you, touched her during the Heimlich, that you got handsy, that it felt violating." I just stood there, staring at her. "She says you used the situation to, quote, cop a feel," Dana added, voice low, "that you were too close. That you took advantage." I couldn't breathe for a second. "That's not true. I performed the Heimlich, that's literally all I did." "I believe you," she said quietly, "but you should know people are talking." By that evening, I couldn't take it anymore. I waited for Maya in the parking garage. Not to confront, but to clarify. There were cameras everywhere, and I made sure we were in view. I didn't want anything I said to be twisted. When she saw me, she stopped short, and her whole body tensed. I raised my hands. I'm not trying to start anything, I just want to talk. She didn't move. Why are you telling people I assaulted you? Her lips tightened into a hard line. Because you did. I blinked. Maya, you were choking. I gave you the Heimlich. I didn't touch you in any other way. You pressed against me. You grabbed me around the waist and... She took a breath. You didn't have to touch me like that. That's how the Heimlich works, I said, trying not to raise my voice. You were dying, Maya. I didn't ask you to touch me, she snapped. You couldn't ask, I said. You were literally unable to speak. She glared at me and turned to walk away. The next morning, I went straight to HR. Too late, they already knew. I was called into a small room, with 2 HR reps and a manager. They told me that Maya had come forward with serious allegations, and due to policy, they were placing me on immediate paid leave pending investigation. I tried to explain my side. I told them to check the security footage. I was shaking. Humiliated. Furious. They nodded, took notes, and said, we'll be reviewing everything. That was 2 weeks ago. Since then, I've been home. Waiting. Losing sleep. I received notice that Maya has filed a civil suit against me. The claim: emotional distress due to inappropriate physical contact under the guise of medical assistance. I don't even have words for how that felt. My coworkers ghosted me. HR hasn't updated me. My email access is frozen. The only calls I get now are from a lawyer I hired on a friend's recommendation. Thank God for that friend. I can't eat, can't sleep. I keep replaying every second of that moment in the break room, trying to see what I missed, what I did wrong. And I keep coming up empty. Update 1. Hey everyone. I finally have an update. And it's a big one. Last Thursday, I got a call from HR. They'd completed their internal review. They wanted to meet. I showed up with my lawyer. And that's when they finally played the footage. Every second of the break room incident, clear, unedited, time-stamped. You can see my eating, then choking. You can see me approach, ask a question, then begin the Heimlich. Textbook, clean, no lingering hands, no fumbling, just firm, practiced movements. The food flies out. She breathes. I back away. She bolts. That's it. No touching anywhere inappropriate, no hesitation, nothing sketchy. Just me, saving someone's life. HR looked almost embarrassed. We want to formally state that the investigation has cleared you of all wrongdoing, they said. They offered me my position back, same desk, same duties, even a quiet little, we're sorry for the confusion. But then things got even wilder. 2 days after I was cleared, I got a call from someone in the company's legal department. Turns out that once Maya's claims fell apart under video evidence, HR started digging deeper. And what they found floored me. Apparently, Maya had filed 2 similar complaints at former workplaces, one against a manager, another against a client. Both were settled quietly. Both included vague claims, little evidence, and a lot of pressure for the accused to just settle. And now, turns out Maya is in financial trouble. Big trouble. She has debt collectors, overdue student loans, and some hefty medical bills. My lawyer thinks this whole thing may have been a strategic move, a lawsuit gamble, hoping I or the company would pay to make it go away. Except this time, she picked the wrong target. She's now on unpaid leave. Legal is reviewing her employment status. And her civil suit. It's crumbling. My lawyer is pursuing a counterclaim for defamation and reputational harm. As for me, I declined the job offer. I'm not going back. I saw how quickly people I thought were friends turned their backs. How HR acted first, asked questions later. How fragile your reputation can be in a place where gossip spreads faster than facts. A few old colleagues reached out and put me in touch with a startup, remote, better pay, smaller team, and most importantly, a culture that actually believes in fairness and due process. I start next month. I'm still healing from all this, but I'm proud I stood my ground. And if there's one takeaway I can offer, it's this. Sometimes, doing the right thing can still cost you everything. But that doesn't mean you were wrong. Thanks for reading. I hope none of you ever have to go through what I did. Final update. Hey Reddit. I didn't think I'd be back with another update, but here we are. I wish I could say everything ended cleanly after the last post, But things took one more ugly turn before the dust finally settled. After I declined the offer to return to work, I focused on moving forward, new job, new environment, and slowly rebuilding my sense of normal. Things were finally starting to calm down. Then I got a knock at my apartment door. It was a process server. Maya is apparently not done. She filed a personal civil suit for emotional distress and invasion of privacy, claiming I humiliated her by spreading the video around and damaging her reputation. I was floored. The company had the video. HR reviewed it. I never had access to it, and never shared a second of it. But it turns out she was trying to spin this new narrative that I somehow weaponized the video against her and caused her public shame. She must be desperate for money or just plain stupid. This time, I had legal support ready. My attorney immediately responded with a motion to dismiss and a counterclaim. Since Maya had previously filed a false report, damaged my reputation, and cost me income and job opportunities, we filed for defamation, intentional infliction of emotional distress, and legal fees. During discovery, it came out that Maya had screenshotted company messages she had received about me from HR. She edited them out of context to try and paint me as creepy. Problem is, this company archived everything. It from our old job provided the full transcripts and metadata. The screenshots were doctored. Her own lawyer dropped her after that. Not long after, I was contacted by someone who used to work with her years ago. Turns out Maya pulled something similar at that job too. Accused a manager of harassment, got a few months of paid leave, and then quit quietly after the investigation turned up nothing. This time, though, she pushed too far. HR at my former company is now conducting a full internal audit of every complaint she filed. Word is, she may be facing charges for filing knowingly false claims. As for me, our motion to dismiss was granted. My attorney is still pursuing damages, and we're exploring additional legal consequences on her end. She's gone quiet for now. It's been one of the most stressful experiences of my life. All because I tried to help someone who was choking. Someone who turned around and tried to destroy me for money. I've learned that not everyone wants to be saved. And some people will do anything to avoid accountability, even if it means dragging innocent people down with them. Thanks again to all of you who followed along and supported me through this mess. I'm officially closing this chapter and focusing on what's ahead. Stay safe out there. And always keep receipts.